Well, hello and welcome to Sydney Withdrawals. Take about 35. We've had our issues here today, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we're sorted because we have two very special guests we wanted to bring to the screen with us today. It is, of course, councillor and ringmaster of the Sydney Royal Easter Show, Mr. John Bennett, and councillor from the cattle section, a formal rural achiever from the Riverina, Alison Hamilton. Welcome to you both, guys. How are we today?
Couldn't be better, Tim and Lindsay. Great to be here.
Also great to be here. Thanks for having me.
One of our bosses the other day said you can only do so many Zoom meetings because they are tiring. But in this day and age, in the era that we're in, this is the best that we could come up with, and it's a bit of fun. John, you and I have a saying, the second best thing about the show is getting to it. I think this year, though, nature has had a way of saying, guys, you're not getting any show at all. It's a real shame that we can't be there this year.
It absolutely is, and you don't realise how much you miss it, of course, until it's just not happening. But how great is it to see the figures in all of this social distancing and isolating, and that so far our country's doing okay. So it is all worth it. It's a big sacrifice for people, but gee whiz, it seems that it's worth it.
Alison, you said in one of our earlier takes, 11 years as a councillor. What's it like for you going to be actually having an Easter at home?
I must say, Tim, this weekend in particular is the weekend we would have been at the show, and we've all been a tad lost. Andrew and I, being both show people, have really been feeling a little lost this weekend. So yeah, it will be strange, but yeah, it is the current situation.
I know Lindsay's here with us as well. Lindsay, technology's got the best of us. I see you driving to some better service.
Yeah, I'm trying to at the moment, and hopefully you can hear me. If you can't, let me know. I'm curious to know, I guess starting with John, what was the catalyst or who was responsible for getting him involved? And Alison, what was her first show like?
Yeah, Lindsay, for me, look, there was lots of people that were very encouraging, but the first person I can remember mentioning it to me ever was when I was president of Nowra Show, Bruce McIntosh, who was a vice president and the councillor of the RAS. He came down to open our debutante ball for us, and after I made a speech and sat back down at the table, Bruce said, I think you should think about being a councillor of the RAS one day. And oh gee, I thought that was the nicest compliment anybody could ever pay me. So it was from there that I guess I thought about it a bit, and then yeah, eventually joined the youth group and one thing and another, and went on from there.
And yourself, Alison?
Yeah, look, Tim, my first real experience of the show and behind the scenes was as a rural achiever, which you've also been, and that was the real eye-opener for me. And it was, I guess that was the point in time when I thought I want to be more in this organisation. And from there, I was lucky enough to be invited onto the RAS youth group, where I did my 5 years. And then it was Patrick Keast, who was the current chair of the cattle committee at the time, who invited me along to cattle meetings. And from there, I became a councillor. It was a real honour.
One thing I don't think everyone realises that you guys as councillors actually give up your time it's a volunteer position. It's not a paid position. You might get to go to the council stand and have a nice meal, but actually all that travel time, all that time that you give up and all the time that you give away from your family is all volunteer, which is a huge commitment because it's a year-round project, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is, Tim. We often say amongst council that this is a very, very expensive hobby that we all have. But I'm sure I speak for all councillors when I say that people don't begrudge a penny of what it costs us to be involved with the RAS. We do it because we absolutely love it. But the time commitment is also considerable. Not only the time you're actually on the showground, whether that's for meetings during the year, at showtime, whatever that might be, but the amount of time we spend on the phone organising bits and pieces. And I know when Chris Carter, who's one of the assistant ringmasters, when his father Philip passed away, they calculated how much time they reckoned he'd spent in his lifetime at the show, and that was 5 years of his life he'd actually spent on the ground. That was not including whatever amount of time he must have spent on the phone and everything else. So it is a big commitment, but like the commitment our exhibitors make and our stallholders and everybody else, we all do it because we love it.
Yeah. Look, I'd agree with John. He hit the nail on the head. But it's in our blood. You know, we do it because we love it. So we don't really calculate the time, but it does add up. But we do it because we enjoy it.
Do both of you have a favourite moment of the show that you look forward to the most every year? So what is the moment of the 2021 show that you just can't wait to be at?
I guess for me, the first Grand Parade, the absolute adrenaline buzz that is, and it is true what they talk about, the duck paddling underneath the water. The amount of stuff that's happening in the 2 seconds before the Grand Parade actually happens is quite amazing. And the phone calls and the radio calls and everything that happens, and just the complete buzz of all of that is really quite something. So that, and for me also, the time I tend to stay on the ground for half the show, and then for the second half of the show I move across the road to a hotel. The night that I move across the road to the hotel, that is, to be honest, one of the greatest times.
And I guess I've got lots of special moments. The grand parades are very special. We actually had our own little grand parade here the other day. My son Will got out all these little toy animals, and we created a bit of a grand parade, and I was surprised at the attention to detail he had in that. They are very special. But my other special moment is obviously being a cattle on the cattle committee and a cattle person, the Angus judging, and particularly the champions with the bagpipes piping out the champions. I really look forward to that moment every year, and that's something I'll also miss. And today would have been our interbreed, so Horden, Urquhart, etc. And that's always a great day in the cattle section. So I'll be missing that.
John, you used a line just before, a duck underwater. There must be, in your time at the show, a memory that you wish you could forget, that we could just park and put away and never remember.
Indeed, there's probably a couple. But the very first year that I was ringmaster, so the governor makes and the president make their speeches on the main arena, and then they leave the arena, walk up the stairs of the council foyer, and then the governor comes out onto the balcony and stands on the special pulpit or podium that he has at the top there with the RAS crest in the front. And then he stands there, I canter across on the horse and salute the governor, and then that starts the Grand Parade. Well, of course, I wear glasses to start with, number one. Number two, where the governor stands is quite dark and under the roof of the council stand. So I'm sitting there on the horse in my first year, nervous as anything, and saying, is he there? Is he there? Can everybody see? Is the governor there? Who can see? And nobody's telling you everything, because everybody is so focused on what they've got to do themselves. So I looked at it and thought, I'm sure he's there. So I cantered across, and then, as you know, the fanfare starts and the green coats go out. As I was cantering across, I was thinking, yep. And as I get just to stop, I realised that there is nobody on the podium, and the governor isn't actually there. So I stop, I salute to nobody, and then canter back. And just as I'm halfway back across the arena, the governor comes bolting to the top of the stairs and gets out onto the podium. So I haven't lived that one down with my fellow councillors for a while. So now I have somebody standing right at the side with a pair of binoculars to watch, because there's no point getting a text from people, because text takes so long in the arena. When the arena's full and you send a text, it can take a minute before somebody actually receives it at the other end. So that's my one.
I don't know if anyone's going to top that, but Alison, have you got a memory you wish you could put away?
Oh, look, Tim, I was thinking about that as John was talking, and there's always little things that go wrong. I mean, it's a live performance, and there are, but nothing particularly comes to mind. But there are always incidents at every show that I guess you think, oh, oops, or I wish that didn't happen. But that's part of the live performance, I guess, that we're all putting on.
So you're not going to disclose an embarrassing moment like your fellow councillor, Mr. John Bennett, just has?
No, only because I haven't thought of one, but I'm sure there are lots.
Hey, John, I was curious to know, you've got such a responsibility being the custodian of heritage in that role as a ringmaster. Can you tell us, for people that aren't really aware of the inner workings, what some of that heritage is? What some of those responsibilities are?
There's an enormous amount of heritage and tradition that goes with the show and the main arena. And and the ringmaster is essentially the person that I suppose is the one that oversees all of that. So sometimes, you know, it can be frustrating when people are just about ready to go onto the main arena and they're not allowed because they haven't got a hat on or whatever. But the feedback I get more than anything is that people want the tradition upkept. They would hate to see us get to the stage where we didn't keep our tradition, particularly things like always wearing a hat in the main arena, which is a nice thing we do. We take our hats off for the presentation of awards, but apart from that, people wear hats up until the end of the rodeo. Once the rodeo finishes and entertainment starts after that, then you can be in the arena without a hat. Of course, the tradition that goes with Peter Spackman, our green coat that takes our presenters across to present, that's a lovely part of what we do in the main arena. And of course, all of the tradition that goes with our green coats themselves, and the fact that they wear green coats and not red coats as the mounted stewards do at most other places. And also tradition that they wear that, and the ringmaster wears tweed. The ringmaster doesn't wear a green or a red coat. Of course, there's the ringmaster's persuader that the ringmaster carries, and I carry a replica. The original ones now are quite delicate in RAS archives. And I think I said before about blowing the whistle in the Grand Parade, and I saw on someone's Facebook that they like when the ringmaster blows the whistle, and as you guys always say, that's dating back to the days of the box brownies. But of course, it's not actually me that blows the whistle. I send a secret signal up to you guys, and it's you guys that send the cue to blow the whistle, but we won't tell anyone.
Alison, you've been in charge of the Showgirl program for quite some years now. I wonder, you must be so proud of the calibre of the women that have gone through the competition and what they've gone on to achieve.
Oh, I really am, Lindsay. It's actually been one of the highlights of my time so far as a councillor is looking after the Showgirl program, because we have some amazing young ladies come through the program, but it's what you see afterwards that really, strikes me and really makes me proud of where they end up and what they end up doing, because the Showgirl journey for some of them is really just the beginning. It's and then, you see them a couple of years later and you think, wow, I think we had a bit of a role to play in that. So yeah, it's a great program. It offers a lot, and yeah, I really love where the women are now and what they're doing.
Rapid fire at you guys. Favourite place on the showground?
For me, Tim, I brought show and tell. The muster room, which is the bar downstairs. A few years ago, they pensioned off the furniture out of the muster room, and you're able to put in a bid. And I put in a bid, and I got 6 of the old stools out of the muster room, complete with the brown ribbon tied on the back, but still here. So for me, the muster room.
Oh, John, stealing all the good answers today. I also don't mind the muster bar, but the cattle lawns is obviously where a lot of my passion is, and the atmosphere down there is really good. But somewhere I like to go when it is, when I do have those few minutes of quiet time, is the little corner in the members cafe area where you can really see the whole main arena and no one can really see you, and that's a place I like to escape to every now and then for a bit of quiet time, but to soak up what's happening in the main arena. So yeah, that'd be one of my favourite spots.
Favourite food at the show? Alison, we'll go with you first because John keeps stealing all the good answers.
Well, I've actually got a boring answer for this one, Tim. I was thinking about this one and I just can't go past the good old bucket of hot chips. I don't have them throughout the year and I really just can't go past a good hot bucket of chips. Can't beat it.
Not boring at all. It's sensational. Mr. Bennett?
Look, I never get to have one, but cheese on a stick is my absolute favourite.
I knew you and I were friends for a reason, Mr. Bennett. I knew we were friends for a reason. I only ever have them at the show. We actually put a call out the other day. If the man who makes them could make a couple for us, we'd name his price. We're keen.
Excellent.
Well, Lindsay, it has been so wonderful having these two guys with us, and I know you're getting to some better service, and we're actually getting you clearly now. It's wonderful. Do you have a favourite food? Did we ask you that the other day? No, we might have lost Lindsay. I think Lindsay might have ducked out on us, but John and Alison, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us here today. John, hopefully we see you in the not too distant future. If not, 2021, it'll be the 199th time since the show started, and it's going to be a cracker year, I'm sure.
Absolutely, Tim. And you'll notice that I'm wearing my badge today. We've noticed that you guys aren't wearing your badges. And I know that that's because you haven't got them. So you and Lindsay should look in the post over the next couple of days, because we'd far prefer to see you wearing your badges, if that's possible.
It's funny, John, because we went to put our badges on and I've packed all my old badges up into storage, and Lindsay, because she was in South Africa and came home, has been on isolation, and so she's up at the family farm near Golgong. So neither of us have even an old badge to put on. So we're feeling a little lacking that we don't have them, because it is a tradition. I've got mine lined up since my first year.
Yeah, watch out for the postman. He's on his way.
We will. And Alison, thank you so much. Thank you, Andrew, for having Will this afternoon. And I'm going to miss catching up. I know Andrew sent me a video of a beer the other day, and a virtual beer. We're actually working on something at the moment that next Saturday, Easter Saturday, we're going to try and host a party of up to 300 people. You can get your code off us, and we're going to do a cattleman's reunion. So keep an eye on our Facebook pages for the code, and we hope you guys can join us there as well.
Count us in.
Guys, thank you so much, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thanks, Tim.